Carlton was a wonderful human being. He had a great sense of humor.
These sentiments encapsulate the life of Carlton Alert. A PNM senator from 1976 to 1986, Alert is not someone normally associated with the politics of Trinidad and Tobago. And although he served as a Minister of Legal Affairs during his 10 years in the Senate and acted in numerous other ministries, Carlton Alert is not a household name. As we navigate the life of Alert, we learn how this simple family man quietly impacted the lives of so many through selfless public service.
Deceptively quiet fellow who knew a lot of law, who you would mistake for a born Trinidadian, whose commitment to this country was unquestioned, who knew how to have fun, and whose art of negotiation was unparalleled.
He did all that he had to do without fanfare, you know. He didn't want any acknowledgement. He did what he had to do. He did it well. And, you know, he didn't need any recognition for that. Just, I think, the satisfaction of having done something and doing it well. You know, that was Carlton.
Born in Guyana, South America on 12th July 1925, Alert came to Trinidad and Tobago on secondment with the federal government. When the federal government collapsed, Alert decided to live and work in Trinidad and Tobago.
He came to Trinidad. He was seconded to the Federation. Right? Came to Trinidad after the Federation collapsed. He stayed in Trinidad and he worked at Texaco, now Petrotrin. He became a director of Texaco. He was the chief personnel officer and labor officer. In 1968, he left and went to complete his law studies in London. That has always been his dream, and so he completed that in 1971. He came back and set up private practice in San Fernando.
Alert entered politics in the 1970s, serving as chairman of the PNM San Fernando West constituency in 1976 when he was appointed a PNM senator.
Well, politically, he was very active in the community.
And while politically active, he remained a man of the people.
His simplicity, his desire to help people, to be kind and generous, that's the hallmark of his career.
As a politician, Alert was noted for his quiet backroom negotiation skills.
A lot of the backroom negotiation that he did, that a lot of people don't know about. You know, as the leader of government business in the House, from time to time, we would have items that we needed to get approval and get the support of the other side, whichever other side was. In our case, it was sometimes the independents, sometimes the opposition, sometimes both. And he was the person who would quietly invite a couple of people back to his chambers, because he was based in the Red House, back to his chambers and break out a drink of their choice and discuss where we were at and what we needed to do. And 9 times out of 10, he would be able to bring the bacon home. He's very good at it, but he did it very quietly. So a lot of people didn't realize what he was doing, didn't know what he did. And I think, for me, that was his greatest achievement. It's not in the public eye, but it was critical and lots of times for us to get what we had to get done.
He could also be trusted to speak his mind and be there for his parliamentary colleagues when they needed his support or counsel.
And you could rely on him on it. I used to admire him for that. It taught me what it was like to be independent. You know, his own position was he really didn't have to stay if they didn't want him around. He had another place to go to. And he would say what was his truth. And that's important.
The youth group of the San Fernando West constituency, I remember him being actively involved in them. Like when there was convention, you know, he would they say, okay, we need to have a youth speaker and so on. And Carlton will, you know, make sure that this person knows, or, you know, the topic that they're talking about, you know, and, you know, sort of advise and make sure that everything was, was right.
Alert, however, did not allow his political career to define him, as he sought to maintain balance in his life, even holding on to the culinary heritage of his Guyanese birth.
The pepper pot lime was a normal thing on Christmas, around Christmas time, but it was more on Old Year's Day. And I suppose weeks before he would get all his, his ingredients and what have you. And he would invite as many friends as was available to come. And he will be cooking his pepper pot. And we had a lovely time, eat and drink and that kind of thing.
Down at his flat down in St. Joseph Village, and waiting for the pepper pot to finish boiling, and he was playing music. He always played some of my favorite music. He was a classical music lover as well.
Carlton loved sports, he loved to drive, he loved music, and the fondest memory would be on a Sunday morning after church. He would come home while I'm in the kitchen, and he would just put on, if it's Bach, Beethoven, or whichever is his favorite music he feels to hear that morning, and he would just be there conducting his choir, and singing. And when a favorite piece came on, he would come in the kitchen and say, "Listen carefully to this one. Listen, did you hear so and so? Did you hear so and so?" And he enjoyed music. He loved classical music. He enjoyed steel band and calypso. He loved the steel band. He would, on carnival days, he would go all over, walking all over, trying to catch up with the steel band. He loved it. He loved the calypso. Right? He also loved classical music.
Family laws were also very important to Alert. As a father of 4, 1 boy and 3 girls, he ensured that his children achieved their full potential.
Colin, he's a medical doctor he lives in Barbados with his family, and 3 girls. Audrey, the eldest of the girls, Margaret, who is a magistrate, and Alison, who works at the UN. Carlton was an organized person, so he worked hard, he worked diligently, but he always seemed to strike a balance. He never let the politics, get to him so that it became his life. Politics wasn't his life. He had a life outside of politics. And so I don't think it affected him adversely. He was able to do what he had to do and, have his life outside of politics.
In 1986, Carlton Alert returned to his private law practice. In 1991, he suffered a stroke which impacted his health, but not his determination to continue working.
He got a stroke in 1991, right? Which incapacitated his right side. But Carlton was a determined person, and he learned to write with his left hand. He worked for 11 years until the last 3 or 4 years. He was actually bedridden, and until he died in 2005.
Carlton Alert passed away quietly, much the same way he had lived his life, without fanfare. He made his mark on the national political stage, serving in the country's parliament for 10 years, from 1976 to 1986. Politician, husband, father and friend. Through his life, he enriched the lives of many others.